everybody, it's Naomi, and today we're going to be doing story time with me. So today for my story, I'm going to be doing a paranormal experience or any scary stories that have happened to me now that we're in time of Halloween. So I'm just going to be doing some stories for you guys, and I think that's all. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what other stories you guys would like to hear for story time with me. Okay, let's get on to it. Okay, so the first one is, I'm gonna call it closet. Let's just go for that. So this happened on 4th of July. It took place on 4th of July and it was in my house. And we didn't go out. We didn't do anything that day. So it was just me, my mom, my brother and sister because my dad was working. So I was just in my room and I was watching some normal YouTube videos. And I was lying down and the neighbors were just shooting fireworks everywhere. And so I'm in my room and I'm lying on my bed, and so I'm holding up my tablet, so I'm sitting like this, so I can't see anything behind it. And my bed's right, like say my bed's right here, then my closet would be right here. So the tablet was covering the closet, so I couldn't see anything what was going on in front of me. So I'm just lying there and I hear a loud bang. I was like, okay, it's probably just fireworks. So I didn't think of looking up. And my closet, it's like those doors that slide in and out, was completely closed. I remember because I looked up once and they were completely closed. And after that loud bang, I'm like, okay, it's just probably the fireworks. I didn't think at the time, but then I take the tablet down and I'm like, okay. So I just look around my room just like, alright. And next thing you know, the closet is halfway open. The doors were closed like this, and one of the doors was like this. So it was half open. It was like, alright. So like, I was getting scared because it was about 8, so it was pretty dark, and I was in my room and the windows were open, so I was like, alright. So, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay. But then the next stories are the ones that are going to start collapsing. And it's in this house. So it's in my room right here. So I'm like saying it and I'm by myself. Not in my whole house. My family's somewhere out there and the living room's down over there. And I'm alone in my room right now. So it's like, alright. So that's the end of this story. The first one. Okay, so the next story, we're gonna call it The Window, or The Nose, alright? So this took place about 11 at night, 12 in the morning, and I was just lying in my bed and I was sleeping, and like, I had barely gone to bed, so I wasn't like dead sleep, like couldn't wake up. I was half awake, so like if you just made a noise, I would wake up right there. So I was just laying down and all I hear is, I'm like, okay, what was that? It's like, it's definitely the window because it hears like a window. It's like, okay, it's probably nothing. So I decide to just try to fall asleep again. So I'm lying down and I'm like going to sleep. I'm falling asleep. And next thing you know, I hear again. I was like, okay, what was that? I started getting scared, so I'm like, Dad. I was like, I start yelling at the tops of my lungs. I was like, there's definitely someone outside. There's someone outside. And I try to get up out of my bed, and it's like, at the corner of my eye, I see a black shadow run out of my room. Like a shadow, like it's dark, but I could still see. So I was like, okay. So I was like, it was probably, at that moment I was like, it's just my imagination. I was like, whatever. So I just, like, my dad comes in, he's like, what happened? I was like, I heard a knock on my window and then I see something. He's like, you're just imagining it. I was like, okay. So that was the end of story number 1. Now number 3. This story number 3 So this one occurred also at night. This one is a little bit more scary. Okay, so I was sleeping. It was about 1 in the morning, and I was just sleeping in my bed, and like I hear noises like footsteps outside of my door. And at that moment I have my door open because I had my dad, when he gets home from work, he comes in and checks in on the rooms, like to see if we're here or like sleeping or how are we. So he just opens the door, and sometimes he just leaves them open. So mine was closed, but then it was open. So I'm like, all right. So I hear noises. I'm like, what was that? I look at my door and I see a lady standing there, like a full-on lady. I was like, at that moment I stopped breathing. I was like and I just couldn't breathe, and I was so scared. I was like, oh my god, this was like so scary because all you see is a lady standing there. I was like, I covered myself with my blankets until I fell asleep again. I was like, don't think about it, don't think about it, just like. So I covered myself with my blanket and I fell asleep again. And I didn't wake up until the morning. I was like, Mom, I saw someone standing at my door. I saw someone standing in my door. He's like, it was probably just your dad. I'm like, okay, so my dad looks like a girl now? He's like, no, well, she believed me kind of. She was like, what did you feel when you saw that? I was like, I couldn't breathe. I felt like someone was choking me. I felt like I just couldn't breathe, or if I had something stuck in my lungs, like I just couldn't breathe. Now, the next night, this happens again, but I don't see a lady. I see a little girl. I have a little sister. She's about 6, and that little girl was about 5 or 4. 4 or 5. She was really young. She was really, really a small little girl. I'm sleeping. I was like, I wake up, and I see a little girl. I was like, Katie, stop trying to scare me. Go back to sleep. Or I was like, okay, Katie, go back to sleep because I'm going to call my mom. Go back to sleep. The little girl does not listen to me. I was about to stand up, but I was like, no. What about if it's not my little sister or something like that? What about it's just my imagination? I'm going to be getting out of bed for nothing. It's like, whatever. So I just fell asleep again. The next morning, I'm like, Mom, did my little sister wake up in the middle of the night? Or I'm like, Katie, did you wake up in the middle of the night? She's like, no. I was like, are you sure? Because I'm sure I saw a little girl in my door. And if you're trying to trick me, it's not going to work. Okay. She's like, no, I'm pretty sure. So my mom, what she does, she got a rosary, and the father put holy water in it, and he put it in my room, and like for the rest of that, I slept good. Like I did not see anything or any ghosts or anything. I didn't see anything. So all of that, it just went away. Okay, so and that. Okay, so this one happens to all of us. It happened to all the people in my family. I lived with 3 of my aunts, 2 of my uncles, my aunt who owned the house, and my uncle who owned the house, and my brother, and 2 of my younger cousins, yeah, 2 of my cousins, and my little cousin. So at that time, on Thursdays, we would usually have family night, so we'd go to Denny's and then to the movie theaters, and then we'll come home and like sleep or do whatever we had to do, homework, take a shower, and usually our lights would be on until like 10 at night because we'll usually have a lot of stuff to do before we went to bed. So we're going out and we locked everything, all the doors, the garage, and my aunt's house has a pin for the garage, and only the oldest, like my aunts and my uncles, only have a pin to that. So all of us were together because it was like none of them worked, so everybody was with us, and we were coming back home, and we turned the corner and the garage was open. I was like, everybody was like, okay. I was about 6, 7, I don't know, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I didn't understand, but all I said was, oh, did anybody come home? My little self was like, they left the garage open. What the heck? And then my aunts are like, who opened the garage? All of us we closed it when we left the house. And I think that day when one of my uncles was working, they call him up. They're like, hey, are you in the house? He's like, no, I'm still at work. It's like, because the garage is open and we thought you like came back home. No, I'm still at work. And it's not the first time the garage has opened by itself. It's like many of my aunts it's happened to them that they come home and then the garage is open. So like, if you guys like these stories, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below what other stories you guys would like to hear. And thank you.